Hi friends, I'm Liam and my pronouns are he, him, and I am running to be your next Student Union President. This is Georgia Bishop, my lovely friend and campaign team. Georgia, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Georgia and I am a third year screenwriting and drama and performance student and Liam's friend.
Yay! I'm also a screenwriting and creative writing student, so I thought that we'd make the elections process a little bit more creative and fun by having a little interview.
So you mentioned in your manifesto and a little bit earlier on that obviously you wanted to include more inclusion in the curriculum. How do you plan on achieving that specifically?
I think that this is going to be a lot of conversations and discussions with actual lecturers. Do I think that'll be hard? No. I think that a lot of people want this. And again, it's something that people want, but it's not necessarily something that you think about.
Mhm.
Once you've started kind of teaching and you're into the routine of teaching and you're actually good at teaching, like I think that all of our lecturers are good lecturers, but like everybody, you get kind of stuck into whatever you do well.
Mhm.
Whereas this could be out of people's comfort zones.
Yeah.
So, for example, our creative writing tutor that taught the module, the inclusion module, she wasn't massively comfortable teaching it, but she knew that she was a person that could teach it. She was such a nice person. She's really cool. She does like, honestly, her name is Charlie Barnes. She's totally gone search. She should buy a book because she's the coolest woman I've ever known. She's a white woman with ginger hair talking about like how to write black people.
Yeah.
Because she's done research into it. She's found books that we could read so we could learn more, things like that.
Mhm.
So I like, honestly, that was one of my favorite modules because I love talking about diversity and inclusion.
I think that a lot of, like you said, lecturers are apprehensive about it because it's not something they're comfortable with. And they're probably concerned they're going to say something wrong or not approach it in the right way. But the only way that you get over that is by talking to them about how they can achieve that.
And it's leading by example. So like we also need to do our research into it. I try and build different types of characters into my scripts whenever possible because I just think it's really important. And to do that, I do research, but you also need to understand that sometimes you're wrong. And that's okay. Like, we're not right all of the time. We can get corrected.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another thing that people are terrified of. One person's going to complain someone higher up and then they're just like out the door.
Yeah,
like,
completely. But it needs to be a process, really, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And you shouldn't be scared of that. You shouldn't be scared to want to include people.
Yeah.
Or include topics that are a bit taboo.
Why specifically have you gone for more of a focus on mental well-being as opposed to mental health?
Again, I think that mental well-being is something that everybody can use. We can all use a little bit more support with our mental well-being. We can all work on our mental well-being. And I think that that's universal. So I'm not targeting specific audiences by saying, okay, first, but you need to email first point everything that's gone wrong, and then you can get some support from this person and this person and this person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is as simple as, if you're really stressed, you can talk to your PAT tutor.
Yeah.
If you're feeling a little bit low, you can text some of your like peer mentors, you can text Talk Walk. It's utilising the services that we've already got in a way that students actually want. So even the student support do kind of like a tea and a coffee morning, which I'm not sure that many people use because it just seems a bit, not dated, but it's not something that an 18-year-old would maybe use.
Yeah.
But if that was promoted in a way that an 18-year-old would use, then it could be really effective in just like having a chat, just learning about things, having a chat about life.
I know that the dog therapy is very popular.
The dog therapy is very popular. Everybody loves pets as therapy.
Yeah, so many people that I know that haven't wanted to take the step and go and have a couple with somebody, but will happily go to dogs and therapy. And I think that's, as you can see, I can appreciate that. Again,
though, that is a step that is a really useful kind of, it's like a door into student services. So like the student services fancy a cup of tea are there, but the dog's there too. The dog's like a barrier between them and the help. So they're just like,
that's like the bridge.
It's like a little style, isn't it?
Because I know that I always get worried, like how do I start the conversation if I was to go and speak to somebody? Whereas if there's a dog there, I just start talking about the dog, and then slowly but surely I'm kind of find myself opening up to the actual people there. So I feel like a lot of time people appreciate having that common ground, which might just be a dog sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just something like warm and friendly that will get you through, because you are terrified of like starting conversations. And the reality is we all know that they are professionals. Like they will start the conversation, but like, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I do the wrong thing? And the reality is there is no wrong thing, but there's a dog there. So you can just stroke it and be quiet for a bit. You know what I mean?
Exactly. My response to anything when I'm uncomfortable, stroke the dog.
Yeah, stroke the
It's
dog.
like, it's something to do, to be like, okay, I don't know what to say, pet the dog.
And it does really get you through.
Yeah, like you can sit and joke about it, but it's so true that that is a massive thing, I think, that a lot of people appreciate.
I knew that it was a big thing, but I didn't know that it was like as appreciated
Oh
as
yeah,
it is.
like
I'm really hoping that September we're allowed back in so we can see the dog.
that's what I'm so upset about, because I haven't
Oh,
done it as much as I'd like to.
fair. Just come in and see me and then we can see the dog together.
Yeah, I think I literally was thinking the other day, I was like, I'm gonna have to just visit Liam when he's like working his role, because I've missed a whole year. I'm just gonna live it through him. So how do you expect to create a feeling of inclusion for students at the university?
So I think this is it's a bit of a difficult topic because obviously some students just don't really want to be included within the students union. I definitely was one of those students for the first 2 years.
I think I stood out of those students, Liam.
Yeah, fair. Totally fair. Like you're not the only one. Like a lot of people just kind of go to uni, get the things done and like crack on with their lives, which is
Yeah.
totally fair. I think as a mature student, that opens up the opportunity within the mature students, parents and carers,
Yeah,
which is great because I feel like that there's a big barrier there. And it was for me anyway. I was like, the student unions for young people, I'm not even going.
completely.
Like forget that. And I've heard that from the network as well.
Mhm.
Like when we were allowed to go out, we planned on having just drinks in the hangar. And they were like, oh, well, the hangar's full of young and rowdy people. And I was like, no, it's just a bar. It's
Yeah,
empty most of the time. I think I open up that kind of category for
Mhm.
mature students and probably like the nursing students as well, maybe, and the healthcare students in general. But in terms of international students, I really want to work with the network, the international network, and kind of societies like the Finnish Society. Just get to know them, just kind of understand what they want.
yeah,
Again, it's talking to people because I think it's really easy for me to say, oh, well, I'll just like play a game of bingo and then some international students might want to come.
yeah.
I hate bingo. Bingo,
They might hate bingo too.
they probably do. They
Yeah,
probably want to play something else, something better. So yeah, working with the International Students Network, working with the Finnish Society and other societies like the Finnish Society is really important. Understanding where they come from and what they want, and like just chatting to them. I think word of mouth is more important than anybody even knows.
yeah.
So like,
How else are you going to understand what people want?
exactly.
I really appreciate that you want to listen to people's voice. You want to hear people's voices. Like you said, it's so easy to sit there and say, I'm going to do this, this, and this. But if it's not what people want, then there's no point to it.
Again,
That.
even if it's like talking to the society chair or
Yeah.
the network chair, and then them going to their networks and societies
Mhm.
and just saying like, look, Liam's a great guy.
Yeah.
Like, have a chat to him. This is his Facebook. Like, go and message him about like whatever you need. He's there to help. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I also think that things like Brexit and the borders maybe closing. That was like, you know who that was? The government, big old government. It's things like that that make people feel uneasy and make people feel almost like not wanted, which is completely unfair, and
Yeah,
I'm completely against it. Yeah.
Again, in your manifesto, you mentioned about peer mentoring. Can you talk to me a little bit about what a peer mentor scheme is for anybody that might not know or might not have been involved in one before?
I think there's a couple of schools at the university that are actually using the peer mentoring scheme like really effectively.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact that psychology is one of them. But basically it's just having not an older student, but a student that's in a higher year,
Yeah.
like working with students on lower years, just like going through questions like, where's the library? How do I get a book out? Just the simple questions that you're too scared to go and like ask your tutor to do. And we've got experience in this in terms of we've got this in screenwriting modules.
Things like, obviously we worked with writers as like script mentors. Is it the same lane?
It's very much going to be like the way that I plan on doing it is very course specific because obviously every course is so different.
Yeah.
And we've all got very different needs. But I loved peer mentoring. I loved helping out the younger students. And like they still message me now to like ask like what's going on.
Mine. It makes
it's so nice.
I was like, oh my god, I've secured my place.
Yeah, same. I had a Teams meeting with mine the other day to talk about the modules that they were doing next year.
Oh, that's so nice.
I just love it. Like I really like helping people.
I wish I'd had one for me, if that makes sense.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
While I love mentoring other people, I'd love to have had a mentor to be like, can you help me with this, or like can I have some advice, kind of thing.
Students in the earlier years get to learn about like how uni works, like where to find things, how to maybe like find the right learning materials that they need to create their assignments, things like that. And the students in the later years get to learn how to kind of manage other people, essentially.
Completely.
And I think that's really important. I think it's really, really important for jobs.
I found it really helpful as well. The few that I did speak to in higher years, not necessarily that they were my mentors, but they had mentor qualities. Talking about modules, like I made a lot of my module choices based off what they said. And I'm so glad I did, because I would have ended up doing modules that I didn't really enjoy, because you get a proper insight from people that have done the modules. Like you need to be speaking to the students to figure out what suits you, because there's only so much a lecturer is going to say about it.
That's what I went through with my old
Yeah.
little student the other day. I was like, yeah, this is good. This is so.
Yeah, I feel you there. How would peer mentoring schemes affect people specifically? Like, for example, how would it affect me as a mentor, or if I'm being mentored, what impact is that going to have on me and my experience?
I think that it's really important for confidence a lot of the time. So like as a first year, you go in, you don't actually know where anything is. You don't know how to do anything. You don't know who to speak to. So it's really confidence building to like create a good kind of, not partnership, but a good bond with someone who's in a higher year, because then you get to know all of the advice. As a higher year, it's really great to kind of pass down all of the things you learn, because as someone who is at uni, I don't realize how much I know.
Yeah.
Like at all, until I'm like telling people, until I'm speaking to people, I'm like, wow, I'm a genius.
I think
No,
the
I'm not.
no, but honestly, the peer mentoring that we did wonders for me. Like sitting and thinking, okay, I actually know that. Like that just came out without me having to sit and think about me not being good enough, kind of thing. So it gives you confidence in that sense. You're finding self-assurance that you are good enough to be here, especially in terms of like imposter syndrome, which I feel like a lot of creative students suffer with. That it's like, okay, I do deserve to be here because I know what I'm talking about. I think it's massive for that.
Absolutely, I agree. And also it gives you skills like in terms of like a high year teaching a lower year, it gives you real managerial skills. So like skills that you kind of learn as you go, but you take those with you. I always say universities, like, you use the course that you've got, obviously, but then it's all of the other things that you do that kind of teaches you the real life lessons. So like you've got a YouTube going, like that's separate from uni, but that's something that you work really hard on and something that can probably get you places. Do you know what I mean? Because you need to be seen in this world.